Hi, it's Chris, and in this video we're going to show you how to install a new door switch in your Samsung dishwasher. So to replace the part is actually pretty easy and only requires a few basic tools. Keep in mind if your machine needs to be repaired, it's usually simple enough to do it yourself. Visit PartSelect.com, enter your model number, and quickly find and order the part you need. So some of the reasons you may be looking to change that door switch is that the machine is just not operating. You open the door, you close the door, you go to program it and nothing's happening. Or you're able to program it, but it does not actually move through into the cycle. So the first thing you're going to want to do to change the door switch in your dishwasher is make sure you turn the power off. In dishwashers, the power that comes in from your home, the first place it goes to is that door switch. So if you're going to be taking any of that apart, make sure you have the power turned off. So once the power is turned off, you're simply just going to open your door, and your latch and your door switch are located right here in the top center of the door. So to access it, we're going to need to take out these screws that go all the way around the perimeter. And that'll allow us to drop off the front panel and the console area, and we'll be able to get right at that switch. So we're just going to take our screwdriver and start taking these screws out. Now, a couple things to keep in mind when doing something like this is when you take those screws out, you're releasing the front panel from this inside door liner. I like to put a piece of carpet or cloth or pillow or something down on the floor so that when that panel drops, it's going to land on something soft, so it's not going to get damaged or scratched. The other thing that'll happen is it's going to start to remove some weight from the door. So there are springs that help assist that door to close. So once you remove that extra weight, there's going to be a little bit more effort from the door itself to try and close. So just be aware of that. And before I go across the top, I'm going to take the same screws out, but from the other side. So now I'm going to start to take the screws from across the top. Now all the screws along the side were all the same length of screw, so there was no concern as to what went where. But across the top it's a little bit different. As you can see, this manufacturer uses different length screws for different parts of the door. And you want to be sure when you put it back together that you use the right length screws in the right place. So just keep in mind at how those screws were set out. The inner ones were all the same, but the two outer corner ones were the short ones. So the next thing we need to remove on this is this vent cover. So I use just a pair of needle nose pliers. I'm going to put it into those ridges and just rotate it. It's just like a regular nut and bolt, just simply on threads with normal thread. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, and it just spins right off. Now we're able to separate that door panel. When you go to separate it, you'll want to just have a look inside and see where those different wires are. So here's our door switch. So we can simply pull off our electrical connector from the door switch itself. And then to remove it, you'll notice there's locking tabs down here on the bottom. So I'm just going to hold the switch, pull that tab back, and lift up at the same time. And that releases it. And that's how easy it is to remove the door latch and power switch from your dishwasher. So now to install the new door latch, we're just simply going to take our separated door panels, bring our latch down into place. You'll notice here in the mount there's a couple of plastic fingers and a couple of locking tabs. So those locator fingers are actually going to go into those slots there. And then the back half is going to get caught by those catches. So all we're going to do is just bring our switch in, press down to lock it into place. So now we're just going to connect our wiring harness back to that door switch. And you'll notice both those tabs are the same size. So there's no concern as to whether the connector goes on this way or that way. It doesn't make any difference which way you do it. It's not going to have any different effect in the operation. Just push it on so it's on there nice and tight. And now all we need to do is lower our inner door panel down on top. So now we can put our vent cover back on. So if you find on yours there's some debris around it, some dried soap, a little bit of dirt or whatever, just take a cloth and wipe that out of there before you put the retainer back in. Now you're just going to center your vent cover into place. Screw it in so it's finger tight, and then you can take your pliers and just give it a little extra rotation to snug it up. And now we just have to put our screws in all the way around. And then I'll put in the ones that go through the actual door switch, door latch. Now these screws are actually going into plastic, where the other ones are going into metal. So with any time you're putting a screw back through into plastic that's already had the screw installed, you're going to want to just back it up just a little bit, and you'll either feel it drop into its place or you'll hear it. So this means you're putting the screw back into the original threads that were cut when the screw was put in from the manufacturer. If you don't do that little step, what'll happen is the screw will now have to start cutting a whole new set of threads, which it can do and works fine, but now you've probably weakened the plastic around it. So the next time you go to do it, it may very well strip out. So anytime you're putting screws back into plastic, just give it that little turn backwards till you feel it drop in, and then snug it up. So now that we have the door back together, all the screws back in and secured, we can close our door. Now all you need to do is turn the power back on your dishwasher, and you're ready to do dishes. That's how easy it is to install the door latch on your Samsung dishwasher.